Good morning friends, welcome back to Panikas Tutorials. In this video, I want to discuss what is an algorithm, what are the characteristics of an algorithm, how to write an algorithm for a particular problem, and then I will discuss how to analyze an algorithm. So I request everyone to watch the complete video for better understanding. First, let me define what is an algorithm. Algorithm is a step-by-step procedure which defines set of instructions to be executed in a certain order to get the desired output. You can find the statement here. Algorithm is a step-by-step procedure which defines set of instructions to be executed in a certain order to get the desired output. Let me give with a simple example. You have a problem that perform the addition of two numbers and display the result. For this problem, what you will do? First, you will identify a solution. Once you identify a solution, you will write the solution in a step-by-step manner. And then you will execute the solution in a proper order to get the desired output. Am I right or wrong? So that is what the definition of an algorithm. Hope you have understood. Now let me discuss what are the characteristics of an algorithm. Every algorithm should satisfy these 5 characteristics. One is that input, output, definiteness, finiteness and effectiveness. Let me discuss each one in detail. First, let me discuss input. Every algorithm should take 0 or more inputs. Now you can ask me, sir, if it takes 0 inputs, what is the output it will give? Let me give with a simple example. You are writing an algorithm to display your own name. You are writing the simple algorithm, display your own name. For that one, does you need to give any input? You are writing printf. Suppose you are writing in the C program. Printf, you will write your name. Are you giving any input? You are not giving any input. But is it giving any output? Yes, it is displaying your name. After executing the program, it will give you the output as your name. Am I right? So an algorithm can take 0 inputs or more inputs also. So the output is that every algorithm should produce an output. At least it should produce one output. Now why it should produce at least one output? If it does not produce any output, then you will not know whether your algorithm is right or wrong. Am I right or wrong? So any algorithm should produce at least one output. Let's take that you are writing an algorithm to perform the addition of two numbers. And then what you want to do? You want to display the result to the user. So here how many inputs it is taking? It is taking 2 inputs because you are performing the addition of two numbers. How many outputs it is giving? One output. Even let's take that you are writing an algorithm to display your own name. So one output it is giving. What is the output it is giving? Your name it is giving. Am I right or wrong? So every algorithm should produce at least one output. Then let me discuss what is definiteness. Definiteness means each instruction or each step or each instruction should be clear. Each instruction should be clear and it should be unambiguous. What is meant by each instruction should be clear? Let's take that you are displaying your name. You need to write display my name is Jagadish or something. You need to write. Am I right or wrong? Suppose you are displaying the variable C. You need to write display variable C. You should not write a statement like display. If you write display, what it should display? It does not know. This instruction is not clear. Or similarly, let's take that when you are reading the input, you should read like read variables a comma b. Or you should write read num1 comma num2. Okay. You should not write an instruction called just read. then this instruction is ambiguous because what it should read, it is not having a clear information. So this type of instruction you should avoid while writing an algorithm. So each instruction should be clear and it should be unambiguous. Any instruction should not consist of ambiguity. Okay, so that is about the definiteness. Now let me discuss about finiteness. Now every algorithm should complete or should terminate after certain number of instructions. You should not write an algorithm which consists of infinite number of steps. Okay, every algorithm should terminate after certain amount of time. Meaning is that it should consist of only finite number of instructions. Suppose let's take that you join in a software company. Your team leader has asked you to write a program for certain task, and then he said that after 1 week you display or you present your code and output to the client. Then you have written the program, everything, you did not test it, okay, and directly you went to the presentation and there you have executed. The presentation has started at morning 10 a.m. You have executed and it is running, it is not giving any output up to 5 p.m. Then what they will do? They will be frustrated. The client will not have that much time. And even the team leader will be frustrated and they will say that you write the program in a proper way and present it after 2-3 days. So, or any algorithm or any program should terminate after certain amount of time. Is it clear? So, any algorithm should consist of only finite number of steps. So it should consist of finite number of steps. Finite number of steps or finite number of instructions. Now let me discuss the last characteristic, which is effectiveness. Now each step in the algorithm or each instruction in the algorithm is useful. You should not write an algorithm that my algorithm should consist of 1000 instructions. You should not keep certain goals. You should write the instruction which is useful for to solve the problem. Am I right or wrong? Suppose let's take that I am writing an algorithm or a solution for a particular problem. That solution can be done with 10 instructions at max. Whatever the way you do, it should be completed with 10 instructions. But you have kept the goal or you have a sentiment that my algorithm, all my algorithms should have 100 instructions. Then what you are doing? You are keeping some 90 instructions which are not relevant to this problem. Am I right? Then these instructions are useless. Am I right? So every instruction in the algorithm should be useful to solve that particular problem. So I hope you have understood all the characteristics of an algorithm, such as it should have 0 or more inputs. At least an algorithm should produce one output. All the instructions should be clear and the number of instructions should be finite and every instruction should be useful. Okay. So these are about the characteristics. Now let me discuss one simple example to write an algorithm so that you will understand the concept in a better way. Now I have a problem that perform the addition of two numbers and display the output to the user. This is the basic algorithm. So let me discuss it. Okay. So what I want to do, what is my problem? I have a variables a comma b. Okay, a and b are the two variables. It consists of some values. Okay, and then I want to perform the addition a plus b and I want to store the result in the c, and c I want to display to the user. This is my problem. How I will write the algorithm? Step 1. Every algorithm should start. Am I right? Whenever you are solving a problem, you will have the start. Am I right or wrong? Then step 2 is that, okay, read the, okay, before reading you should declare. Am I right? Declare the variables a comma b comma c. You should declare the variables, and then you need to read the variables. Okay, read the variables a comma b, and then step 4 is that once you have read the values from the variables a comma b, you need to perform the addition. Perform the sum of a comma b and store the result in C. Okay, now step 5 is what? Once you store the result in the C, you need to display the variable C or the value in C. Okay, and step 6 is that you should stop the algorithm. Now this is an algorithm to perform the addition of two numbers and display the value to the user. Now let's check it whether this algorithm is satisfying all these characteristics or not. First one is that input. How many inputs this algorithm is taking? It is taking two inputs. One is that a value and b value. What is the output it is giving? Every algorithm should at least give one output. What is the output it is giving? It is giving the value of the variable c. So it is giving one output. Now definiteness. Each instruction should be clear. Yeah, I am saying that start. Declare the variables a comma b comma c. Read the variables a comma b. Perform the addition and store the result. Display. So every instruction is clear. And finiteness. I have completed this algorithm in 6 steps. So it is finite. And effectiveness is each instruction is important to solve this problem. So I hope you have understood how I have written the algorithm and how I verified whether it is satisfying the characteristics of algorithm or not. Now let me discuss how to analyze an algorithm. Okay, so let me use this space. Remember one thing, you have a particular problem. For this problem, you can find n number of solutions. Solution 1, solution 2, solution 3, solution 4. So many solutions you can find. Am I right? Is it clear? For a particular problem, only one solution is not possible. Am I right? You can find more than one solution. So this is what generally we will talk. So for a particular problem, you can find more than one algorithm because a solution is nothing but an algorithm. Am I right or wrong? Now how can you find which is the best algorithm, which is the worst algorithm? Am I right or wrong? Similarly, let's take that when you are solving a problem, among these 4 solutions, which solution is the best one we will find, that solution we will do it. Am I right? Similarly, whenever you are solving a problem, you can find more than one algorithm. Which algorithm is better? How can we analyze? We can do with the help of two things. One is that we can do that a priori analysis and a posteriori analysis. Hope it is visible for you. Okay, a priori analysis, a posteriori analysis. Sometimes people will say that priori analysis and posteriori analysis. Now what is meant by priori analysis and what is the posteriori analysis? Priori analysis is a theoretical analysis, whereas posteriori analysis is the empirical analysis. Let me discuss with a simple example. You have a problem, you have written an algorithm, and then among these 4 algorithms, you want to find which is the best algorithm. How we will analyze is that in the priori analysis, we will analyze with the help of 2 parameters such as time complexity and the space complexity. What is meant by time complexity? What is meant by space complexity? If I write this algorithm in a certain program, how much time it will be executed? That is what the time. And how much time or how much space it is required to execute this program. That is with respect to the time and the space complexity. I hope you have understood. If you have written a particular problem, a particular program, then how much time it is required to execute it and how much space it will occupy while executing, that is with respect to the time complexity and space complexity. In the priori analysis, we will analyze the time complexity and space complexity with respect to the input. Okay, with respect to the input size, we will analyze what is the time complexity, what is the space complexity. Coming to the time complexity, we will have three cases. One is that we will have the best case, we will have the average case, and we will have the worst case. Okay, so we will have a best case algorithm, average case algorithm, worst case algorithm. Let me discuss with a simple example. You have an array of inputs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, now what is meant by best case is that you want to search the element 1, whether the 1 is there in this list or not. Okay, if you start searching 1, you will find it here itself. So this is the best case. Now what is the worst case? You want to search whether 7 is there or not. If you want to search whether 7 is there or not, you need to traverse the entire list. Here you will find 7. So this is the worst case. What is the average case? Whatever the element you are searching, if it is there in the middle itself, then you will say that it is the average case. Okay, so best case, worst case, average case. We will discuss it in the design analysis of algorithm with respect to the asymptotic notation such as big O, omega, theta. Okay, so here I don't want to discuss with them in detail. Okay, so the priori analysis is the theoretical analysis where the processor speed and the memory, everything is constant. Whereas the posteriori analysis is the empirical analysis. They will give you certain values. Suppose you have written the algorithm, that algorithm you have taken a certain programming language and you convert it into a program, and then you have executed in the particular hardware, and then you have tested how much time it has taken to execute this program. Now how much time it has taken, it depends on the hardware. What is the processor you are using, what RAM you are using, everything it will depend on the hardware, but it will give you the exact value. So a priori analysis is the theoretical analysis and a posteriori analysis means it will give the exact values. So I hope you have understood what is an algorithm, what are the characteristics of an algorithm, how to write an algorithm, how to analyze an algorithm. In the next video, I will discuss few more examples on the algorithm so that you will understand the concepts in a better way. If you still have any doubts related to these concepts, whatever I have discussed in this video, feel free to ask me in the comment section. I will try to clear your doubts as early as possible. Thank you for watching the complete video. Have a nice day.